And now on to the administration section of the Coach's Resource Guide overview. We reviewed in part 1 the state tournament fact sheet. Each student athlete has to fill out an application for participation for interscholastic unified sports. New this year is that only one needs to be handed in each year. But since the tennis season is the first of the school year, you will be required to collect one of these from each of your student athletes. So for players or competitors, each of the following must be completed and provided to SOMD. The applications for participation, which you can see at right and are provided in the supplements of the guide. It's important that the form is completed in its entirety. Absolutely included this gray box. It's very important to know what disabilities the students with the athletes with disabilities have for proper rating purposes. And so you can see here the definitions of athlete versus unified partner, IEP 504, or unified partner. So an athlete is a person with an intellectual disability. That's the grade column. If a person has an intellectual disability and disabilities other than that, the person is designated. A unified partner IEP 504 is a person with disabilities or a disability other than an intellectual disability. So those unshaded columns to the right. And then a unified partner is someone who selects the no box as to whether the student has a disability. The student athlete affirmation of eligibility, which is in supplement B of this resource guide, there is one per roster due to the district representatives from each team. Okay, so this is your team. This is everyone who is going to be going to the district tournament. Basically, this is your official roster. So fill in the names of the student athletes for whom an application of participation has been completed, including signature, retained and submitted to Special Olympics Maryland. Then sign this form and submit it as instructed to your district representative or to Kara Marinak for Allegheny and Garrett counties. This was new last year, but it has gone at least a full year for Special Olympics Maryland, that any and all additional team personnel, or sometimes called the travel party, should also be added here to this affirmation of eligibility for credentialing purposes. So that would be team managers, an IA or paraprofessional from the classroom that travels with the team, any interpreters, one-on-one nurses, parent volunteers, anybody who will be traveling with the team to the district or state tournament needs to be filled out on this, and that is due according to the timeline that that's at the beginning of the guide, of the resource guide. Postseason registrations. This is very important. Postseason registrations have to be submitted electronically, and they must be in Excel format. It is still an issue from year to year that people are submitting handwritten or PDF forms. This Excel document that you will receive, it's in the resource folder on the Google Drive, or your district representative will probably end up emailing it to you as well, is a formatted Excel file. The event type here, the role, those are drop-down boxes, so you shouldn't be typing or overwriting any of those. The information up here should not be skipped. High school, county, date completed, head coach, phone, coach's email, and all of that. The combined rating scores table that's down to help you to fill in the event here once your student athletes and partners are paired up. So there is no alternate. It has to be submitted electronically in Excel format. It will be sent back to you if it's not done correctly. And then there is a specific name, file name convention that you have to use, which is district number hyphen county hyphen school. So here's an example: District 10 hyphen Caroline hyphen Colonel Richardson High School. Okay. If a team has multiple teams, use a separate file for each team. Do not utilize Excel tabs. Do not utilize Excel tabs. Please open a brand new blank one and create another roster with a separate Excel file. Multiple team naming conventions will be district number hyphen county hyphen school hyphen team 1 or hyphen team 2. Do not name your teams silver, blue, red, or whatever seems catchy. That will be returned to you and asked to be changed. The deadline for that is Monday, September 30th for 2019. It may be according to other timelines in future years. And then, as I referenced in the overview, all non-student athletes have to complete the Class A clearance requirements. Who is a Class A volunteer is here: coaching staff, head and assistant coaches, any one-on-one aides, small group student aides, interpreters, student teachers, interns, and paraeducators serving as coaches and support staff for the state tournament or invitational, parents, guardians, family members, or those appointed or hired by the family who provide personal care, hygiene at the state tournament, students who accompany teams to the state to provide support and supervision, or others identified by the school or Special Olympics. Because Class A volunteer status is needed based on an individual's function, it is sometimes necessary to screen others even though they don't fit into one of the above categories. So, what if you have a criminal background check with the school system? Do you have to complete one with Special Olympics Maryland? Yes, unfortunately, regardless of credentials required for employment, the insurance provider for Special Olympics requires that all Class A volunteers be cleared through their own background check provider and verified volunteers, which indicates the volunteer's eligibility. All Class A documentation has to be submitted directly to Dottie Rush, who is Special Olympics staff. I know that sometimes that can be confusing because some paperwork is due to one particular person and others to this person, but because of the personal information that goes into a Class A clearance, it goes directly to Dottie. So here are the steps on how to become a certified Class A volunteer. You have to do the volunteer application and release. And then, complete the protective behaviors training. Once you complete that training, you should either print and scan or take a screenshot of the final screen after you click submit, just in case something happens and they can't find your submitted protective behaviors. You have a proof that you did it. For persons who are under the age of 18, so minors, they actually have a different reference form. They have to complete the student minor reference form, and they have to complete with 2 non-family references verifying their eligibility to serve as a volunteer. You, as the coach, can use non-family references to fill in. Okay, I already went over the contact information in part 1, so this is just for your reference. You may print this directly from the file for those applications for participation. They do not have to be printed in color. You can print them in grayscale. This is so that you can see all the different parts. Please, 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 please do not neglect this part here, the signature of the participant or the signatures of the parent or guardian, and do not neglect this box right here that you have to check up here about, does the student have a disability? That little mistakes like that have been known to hold up an entire sports season. So just pay special attention to that when you collect it back from your student athletes. Here is the the affirmation of eligibility. Remember, that's one per school team. And supplement C, this is the volunteer application. And the student minor volunteer references. As always, we ask that you consider using the Special Olympics Maryland Amazon Smile. A portion of it's no cost to you, but Amazon donates 0.5% of the cost of your purchases to Special Olympics Maryland when you make a purchase. And of course, we always ask that you support our generous sponsors each year. Thank you for your time and attention during this meticulous review of the Coach's Resource Guide. Good luck, and I hope that you all have a great season.